Hi world, it's Keely and I'm back for another video. This is just going to be a quick Friday reads. I have been reading a bunch. I've finished 27 books so far this year, which is pretty ridiculous, but all I've been doing really is reading in my spare time. And I am in the middle of a bunch of other books and then have even more that I want to start and read. I figured I would just update you guys on the ones that I am working on. The main one that I really need to make progress on this weekend is A Woman Is No Man by Etaf Rum. This is the book club pick for Jenny's Boundless book club. I will link that down below. I have been completely obsessed with Jenny's channel and have been getting tons of book recommendations from watching her videos, and so I went to the library and got a couple of them out. This being one of them because this, like I said, is for the book club. This is about 17-year-old Isra? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It takes place in two time periods. One is in Palestine in 1990, and then the second is in Brooklyn in 2008. And the Brooklyn one follows Dea, but the Palestine one follows Isra. And I started it last night, and I got 4 pages into it, so I really need to make progress on this one. Another one that I started reading, and again have only gotten 4 pages into this one, is another library book. This one is Be a Revolution by Ijeoma Oluo, and I read their other book, So You Want to Talk About Race. I think there's a third book as well, but I've only read So You Want to Talk About Race a couple years ago. Really enjoyed it. After having some conversations with my friends recently about feeling kind of like helpless with what we can do besides like donate money or buy from small businesses or, you know, reading and learning, like what can we do? And so I saw this book at the library when I went to pick up A Woman Is No Man and thought this would be a perfect one to read for right now. This one is a collection of kind of interviews and stories that the author had with people that are doing a lot, and it's how everyday people are fighting oppression and changing the world and how you can too. Very, very excited to do a deep dive into this one. And then another one that I started, and I'm only 12 pages into it, but I've been taking my time with it, is The 100 Years War on Palestine by Rashid Khalidi. This is a history of settler colonialism and resistance from 1917 to 2017, and I'm sure you've seen this one popping up on a lot of booktubers channels, a lot of Bookstagram pages, for good reason. We are all trying to learn more about what is happening, and again, in that conversation I was having with my friends, one of my friends has read this one and highly recommended it to get a good like foundational knowledge, like a jumping off point for where I can then go and try to learn even more. Like I said, I've only read 12 pages, but I was talking to my husband, like I already have been writing all over it, taking notes, like writing questions and then looking stuff up. Definitely enjoying this one as much as you can enjoy something that's like really horrific. We'll be making more progress on this one. And I do need to get some more stories read in How Long Till Black Future Month by N.K. Jemisin. I purchased this one this month. I was very excited for it. Read the first 2 stories. I'm up to page 40 and haven't read any more, so I really want to get a couple more stories read from this one this weekend. I also have been making my way through Black Leopard Red Wolf by Marlon James, which is another newer purchase. I am almost completely done with the first section, which is only about 100 pages. I'm hoping that I can find like either a Wikipedia or a lit chart or something that gives summaries of the chapters and sections so that I can go back and make sure that I understand what I'm reading, because this one is a fantasy with lots of mythology. You're following someone whose name is Tracker, or they are a tracker, and they're telling their story to, I think, like an inquisitor or something like that, and it's so weird so far. I'm loving the vibes, but I just feel really lost. It feels kind of like how some of the Locked Tomb trilogy or series books were. Like Gideon the Ninth feels like it made the most sense to me out of the 3 that have been released so far. As I worked my way past Gideon the Ninth into like Nona the Ninth and Harrow, I felt like my ability to really understand what was happening just kept dying off. Like I went back and reread the summaries that I found online of the stories so many times because I just was like, what are you talking about? So I'm very much hoping that I can find that and really appreciate this book more than I am right now, just because it's making me feel like I don't know what's happening. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the vibes. I just need to read more to see if things could start to make sense for me. is the first one in a trilogy, and I do have the second one, so I want to finish this one and get to the next one. Then one that I just purchased this week, because I have a feeling that I'm really going to love this one, is The Secret Lives of Church Ladies by Disha Filia. And this one is a collection of short stories, and it says it explores the raw and tender places where Black women and girls dare to follow their true desires. There's a 14-year-old Jael who nurses a crush on the preacher's wife, the mother who bakes a sublime peach cobbler every Monday for her date with the married pastor, and Eula and Caroletta, single childhood friends who seek solace in each other's arms every New Year's Eve. I've just heard amazing things about this one, and I just have a feeling that I'm really going to love it, so that's why I decided to just buy a copy of it. So this one is very short. I don't think it will take me that long to get through at all. Very excited for this one. And as if that isn't more than enough, I also need to get more read of Lords of Chaos by Robert Jordan. This is book 6. Yeah, book 6. So I actually bought books 5 and 6 in this version, and I meant to buy books 6 and 7. As I was filming a video the other day that I ended up scrapping because the footage was blurry, but as I was picking up book 5, which was Fires of Heaven, to talk about it, I was like, I've read this already. Like, why did I buy this? I read it already. So it was a complete oversight on my part that I purchased the wrong book. But we are up to book 6, and so I'm the only one from the podcast group that has not read this already. So I really need to get more done in this one. I read the first like 70 pages, I think. I have to check. I have an ebook version and see where I end up in the actual physical copy, and I will put my bookmark there. So I need to make progress on this one. And another one that I started and just put down even though I was having a good time with it was Death Stranding, book 1, based on production by Hideo Kojima, novelized by Hitori Nojima, and translated by Carly Radford. This is based off of the video game, and my husband played the video game and absolutely loved it, and so when I saw they had book versions, I was like, oh, that is my in to understand the video games. I started reading it, really loved it, and then put it down because I have 8 billion other things I'm working on, but I do want to go back to this one. I also am supposed to be reading books for BookTube Spin, TBR Spin, and the Read the World book club, and I have not, so I want to make progress on any of those. And so one of them on that list is Frankenstein by Jeanette Winterson. This one is for the BookTube Spin, which Rick McDonnell hosts, not TBR Spin, which is an offshoot. BookTube Spin, he chose 2 numbers, and so we have until the end of March to read those 2 numbers from our list. And basically my list is all of the books that I've purchased so far this year, plus some other random ones. So I need to go through and I need to update my list now that I've purchased a couple more, and then I will hopefully make a video like I planned, showing what my TBR Spin and my BookTube Spin books are, and then update you on which ones I've read and which ones I haven't. So this is one of the numbers that Rick spun for BookTube Spin, and I really want to read this one because it is a Frankenstein retelling, and I've heard amazing things, and I think I'm just really going to enjoy it. And then I also have library books out that I've been working my way through. It's very satisfying to have a big pile of library books, and then as you read one, start a second pile. So it's very like visually satisfying to watch one like books move from the big pile to a second pile and be like, oh look, I am making progress. You have a stack on the floor of all of the books that I've gotten from the library that I've finished so far, but then I have 5 more that I need to read. Nope, more than 5. 7 more that I need to read because of the first 2 that I talked about. So the other ones that I have are, is it Kaikai by Vaishnavi Patel, and this one is an Indian mythology fantasy book that came out very recently, like within the last couple of years, and he loved it, and so I wanted to go and pick it up. I don't know anything about it, but I'm very excited for it. Then because I've been reading a lot of short story collections and really liking them, I picked up Holothrice and Other Revolutions, a novel and interlocking stories by Omolola Ijeoma Ogunyemi. Is it Jollof or Jollof? I've heard it pronounced both ways and I don't know which one is right. This one sounds like it's going to be amazing. It takes place in Nigeria and I think I'm just going to have a great time with it. And the final one then that I really want to get to soon is The Bandit Queens by Parini Shroff. This one was on like some lists last year, either long lists or short lists. I don't remember. I don't know if it was on the women's prize list or if this is just one people thought would be. But this one is about Geeta, whose husband walked out on her in their very small village. It is not safe for her to be single, so there's a rumor that started that she actually murdered her husband, and she's just letting that continue so that she can feel safe. But other women in the community are now coming up to her to kind of hire her as like a hitman, I think. It's supposed to be wild. I'm very excited for it, so I just really want to get to this one. I was able to continue my reservation, like renew my reservation for all of the books that I have out from the library, which is amazing because now I have them through like the middle of March. Like I said, I've read 27 books. I am keeping track. I'm using Jen Annie's tracker that she made for Notion because of course I am. But the best way for you to see what I'm reading is to follow my story graph, which I will link down below. And then also I sometimes post on Bookstagram. Like yesterday I finished Dating Dr. Dill, which was incredible, and I posted a picture of that on Bookstagram, so I will link my Bookstagram and my story graph down below. I will link Jen Annie's channel down below. I think that's it. I have a bunch of meetings that I have to get back to. I was just taking a quick break after my first very early morning meeting, but let me know what you guys are reading. How is life going? I hope that you're all doing okay, hanging in there. Let me know if you want to buddy read anything. I haven't done really any buddy reads so far this year, just been like loosely, very passively involved in book clubs. I hope you're all doing okay. And I also wanted to say that my hair looks crazy, and I know that. I am growing it out, and this is not an intentional style that I chose. It's just what happens when I grow my hair out from very short to long. So it is kind of a mullet, kind of a wolf cut, kind of Farrah Fawcett-y. It's just doing whatever it wants, and I don't feel like wearing a beanie today because it is really warm in my apartment because we are prepping for another snowstorm in the Philly area. Okay. That's it. Enough rambling. I have to get back to work, but thank you so much for watching. Hope you're all doing okay. That's it. Bye.